Our correspondent, Bénédicte Paviot, joining me from outside the Houses of Parliament. Bénédicte, why only ask for a short delay?
Well, we think that the Prime Minister was very much minded to ask for a long delay. That's certainly what she seemed to indicate last week in Parliament. She'd said short if she got her meaningful vote through. We understand from the letter that the Prime Minister has sent Donald Tusk that she had intended to bring back what is called here MV3, so the meaningful vote, and try and get that approval of her deal from MPs. But she says that she was prevented from doing so in this letter by Common Speaker John Bercow. However, she adds, it remains my intention to bring the deal back to the House. So what's the state of play and where are we now? According to current UK law, the United Kingdom is leaving on the 29th of March the rest of the EU, the 27 other member states. And there is no prospect for the moment of her getting her deal through. Of course, the Prime Minister heads to Brussels on Thursday, and clearly what we've just witnessed at Prime Minister's questions has been quite extraordinary. Real anger from very many MPs, not from Brexiteers, it has to be said, but certainly, for example, from the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, saying that this government is in absolute crisis, accusing the Prime Minister of incompetence, also of intransigence, and explaining that that is why the United Kingdom finds itself where it is. Many Labour MPs shouting resign as from their opposition benches as the Prime Minister was explaining her position. And the attack that we have just witnessed from the Prime Minister on Parliament has been almost unprecedented. She said that the MPs were gazing at their navel on the question of Europe. So the blame game very clearly has very much begun here, and there is real concern and fear, certainly amongst many MPs, that the United Kingdom is more likely to crash out now because of this short request, and very much eyes on Brussels and that summit meeting tomorrow and what EU leaders will say.
And Bénédicte, the other issue, of course, is EU elections. They're taking place in May. The UK wants the delay until the end of June, but not to take part in elections.
That's right. That short extension, and the Prime Minister is very clear in her letter, indeed, as you say, that she wants an extension no longer than the 30th of June. She also made it very clear, yet again in Parliament, almost using it as a stick to beat MPs with, that there is no prospect of there being EU elections, that is not necessary, it's not desirable, therefore that this will not happen. But she also made it very clear is that or if she was to bring back her deal, and if that were not to be defeated again for a third time. Remember, on the 15th of January, it was defeated by 230 votes. That was unprecedented ever, and also, or just unprecedented. And on the 15th of January was one thing, but then on the 12th of March, it was defeated a second time, and that time it was 149 votes. So some say that actually there was no prospect of the Prime Minister really getting the numbers and pushing it through right now. Now, what the Prime Minister has also made clear in that half an hour or more of questions in Parliament is that she has no intention of, if she weren't to get that extension beyond the 30th of June, then it seems she would resign, she would step down. And many people are referring to what happened yesterday in Downing Street, and that was the cabinet meeting, when, according to the very many leaks we have in the British press, there was an almighty bust-up where, amongst others, Andrea Leadsom, the leader of the House of Commons, said, what's happened to this cabinet? We're not pushing through Brexit and the will of the people. And quite a few Brexiteer ministers said that they were prepared to resign almost on the spot if the Prime Minister had asked for a long extension. So many are accusing the Prime Minister of being pushed around by the European Research Group and extreme Brexiteers. Very worrying and very lively scenes in Parliament. I think there's going to be much more in the coming hours. But the spotlight really now on Brussels and what will come out of that EU summit. There may not be a decision tomorrow, we're hearing from Brussels. And could everything then play out next week? Could we have another meaningful vote next week, defeated or possibly pushed through? And could we have a final decision from the EU as regards an extension? Meanwhile, we're still looking at that 29th of March date very closely.